Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review and demo of the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. I have a little sample here which I picked up at the end of October, and I've been using it on and off throughout the month of November to really have a good feel of the foundation so I could do a review and demo for you guys. Now, if you're not familiar with the Estee Lauder Double Wear original formula, it's supposed to be a foundation that gives you medium to full coverage. It's very long wearing, and I've done a comparison video with a drugstore foundation, so I'll link that video below in case you guys are wondering or are interested in actually knowing a little bit more of that foundation, because I don't have a separate review. Now, I was really curious about this one because it's supposed to give you similar coverage or similar longevity throughout the day, so I really wanted to try it out. On the Estee Lauder website, they say that this is a 15-hour wear foundation that is supposed to feel light as air on the skin. It also says that this makeup keeps up a fresh and natural, comfortable look. It goes on sheer, leaves skin feeling free to breathe all day. It also says that it controls oil, resists smudging, and won't melt off throughout heat and humidity. It also says that the benefits of this foundation, obviously it's the 15-hour wear, it's supposed to control oil, and the finish is very natural. To apply the foundation today, I'm going to be using my F80 by Sigma. I've tried different brushes and I've also tried a beauty sponge, but I actually prefer this because it really buffs the foundation into my skin and it gives me the coverage that I want. So I'm going to try and get the last bit of foundation. I still have quite a bit in here. So I'm going to take this much. As you can see, the foundation is not liquidy to the point that it's just dragging down my hand. It actually stays put really well, and we're going to see how it applies. Well, I already know how it applies, but I want to show you guys how it goes on the skin. So I'm going to do my normal dotting that I always do when I apply foundations, and it does smell like foundation, but not like chemical, if that makes any sense. So if you're sensitive to smells, this foundation doesn't smell bad at all. So I'm going to grab a mirror and start buffing the foundation into my skin. I don't find that this one is as quick drying as the Estee Lauder Double Wear, the original formula. You actually have enough time to blend the foundation into your skin, and I have a breakout over here. I hope the camera's picking up. So we're going to show you guys how much this foundation actually covers. Depending on how much coverage you want, I would say get about 2 pumps, if that makes any sense, out of the packaging, and just build the coverage as you go along. But I don't think that this one can give you full coverage. It's just a medium buildable coverage. So this is with just one layer. As you can see, my skin still looks very natural. It hasn't covered everything completely, but I feel like it has somewhat evened out my skin tone. And one of the things that is very nice about this foundation is that it doesn't feel, you know, sticky or anything like that. It's kind of like already setting, and there is no glow whatsoever on this foundation. It's matte, but not as matte as the original formula. So I don't want to compare it too much, but because it's the sister foundation, you can't help but to compare. But I don't think that this one looks as matte as the original one. So I'm going to apply another layer so we can see how much coverage we can build up to. So now I'm going to start blending in my second layer. Definitely this one is not as thick, I find, that than the original one. So here we are with the second layer. This foundation is definitely not a full coverage foundation because I can still see my breakout right over here, and I have some scarring on this side of my mouth which I can still see, and some marks around here, but for me that's perfectly fine. It has covered, it has evened out my skin tone, which is what I look for in a foundation, and not too much masking my face, if that makes sense. But it is quite yeah, it's not a full coverage foundation, so if that's what you're looking for, then this definitely is not for you. But if you like medium buildable coverage or just light medium coverage, then definitely try this foundation out because the coverage is quite nice when it comes to that. So what I'm going to do now is finish the rest of my makeup, and I'll come back to finish my review. So I'm back with the rest of my makeup done, and now you guys can have a better feel of how the foundation actually looks on my skin, having layers of products on it. But I'm going to go back to tell you guys more details about the foundation. This retails for £30. It's not a cheap foundation. It's quite expensive, so it's an investment. So before you attempt to buy this foundation, please get yourself matched. Take a sample and really have a feel for the foundation and see if it's something that can work for you. Now they have 8 shades available, and they work with intensities. The lighter intensity is 0.5 and the darkest one is 6.5. The one that I was matched to is intensity 3, and I actually believe that that would be the best shade for me out of the range, because anything lighter than 3 would be too light, and anything dark would definitely be too dark, because intensity 3 and intensity 3.5, there is a huge difference between those two shades, and I feel that this one that I was matched to is more of a neutral shade than it is yellow. I've heard in other reviews where they were saying that this is quite yellow. I don't think it's yellow enough for my skin, so I find it a little bit more neutral than anything. Now, when they claim that this foundation has a natural finish, I don't want you guys to think it's going to be naked on the skin and nobody will notice that you're wearing makeup. I don't think that that's what they mean. I think that they mean that when it sets, it kind of like sets like it was just your skin, but I still feel that I look like I'm wearing makeup. It's not as natural as I would want it to be, like my Bobbi Brown Skin Stick foundation. That one is super duper natural, whereas this one, when I look at myself in the mirror, I do look like I'm wearing makeup. So I need to be careful not to apply too many layers. I need to be careful not to apply too much powder. Like right now, I haven't set the foundation with the powder because it is quite matte. Not as matte, I find, as the original formula, but it is matte enough for now, winter, that I don't need to apply any powder on top. Now, how it sets on my skin, I do feel that I need a primer, because right now I don't have a primer, and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I can see my pores quite visible, so I would definitely recommend you wearing a primer. It also kind of like emphasizes a little bit my fine lines, not too much, but I have dehydrated skin, so certain foundations do make that a little bit more visible, but you know, with a primer it should definitely help. Now, this foundation is very long wearing. I find that it's as long wearing nearly as the original formula, but please bear in mind that I'm wearing this foundation fall winter and not summertime. The Estee Lauder Double Wear in the summer is like concrete to my face. Even though I still create a lot of oil, the foundation stays put, it doesn't go anywhere. Whereas this one is still very, very long wearing, but in the winter I get more oily just on my T-zone and in my forehead, but not as much on the rest of my face. So I feel that the foundation holds up really, really well. I've also noticed that when I blot around the 5th or 6th hour, this foundation doesn't transfer at all. It doesn't smudge. I only see the tissue looking a little bit, you know, like when oils are absorbed into the tissue, that's what I see, and not the foundation. So that is absolutely amazing, because I hate foundations that transfer, and some of my favorite foundations do transfer, and I just need to, you know, make it work because I like them so much. But I do appreciate a foundation that does not transfer at all. I'm not too sure if this foundation has SPF. I was trying to look some details on the website, but I couldn't find it. So if it does have SPF, I will put the links below or an annotation here to let you guys know. But if it does, it's probably going to be SPF 10 like the original, I'm assuming. Now, if you have dry skin, I would advise you or recommend that you moisturize your skin very, very well, because where I had my breakouts right over here, there is a dry patch there and I see the foundation clinging on to that. And in this area here where I'm really not oily at all, I can see the foundation kind of like drying slightly. So it's something to keep in mind. If you have really dry skin, the foundation can cling to your dry patches and it's not going to be very nice. So just moisturize. If you are combination to oily and very, very oily, I'm sure you will really like the formula because it doesn't overproduce or allow your skin to overproduce oil. But let's just be honest, there is no foundation in the world that tells you or that actually absorbs oil throughout the entire day. If you are oily, combination to oily, your skin will still produce, but not as fast. So that is a huge, huge plus. Now, as the name suggests, Double Wear Light. Is it lighter in coverage or lighter in fill? I do believe it's both. It's lighter in coverage compared to the original formula, and it's lighter in feel as well on the skin. It doesn't feel like you're wearing makeup. It's quite comfortable to wear. I do love the fact that this foundation is a 15-hour or up to 15-hour wear. So because I have combination to oily skin, I am not going to worry about oils seeping through, my makeup start moving around. It does stay on the skin for a perfect working day. Now, the only thing that I feel like it's a downside for me is that this shade is not warm enough for my skin tone. I do feel like I am wearing makeup. Not feel, I need to choose the right word. It looks like I'm wearing makeup, especially here on the chin. When I look at myself in the mirror and I see the difference, maybe the camera's not picking up, but I do see a difference when I look in the mirror throughout the day in natural daylight. I do see a difference right over here. It just looks like the foundation doesn't match me 100%. But would I recommend this? Yes, because overall I do think it's a fantastic product. I do feel for me that it's better than the original formula. I just wish that they had more shades to cater for everyone. I don't know if they will ever have more shades, but I think they should, because it is a very nice foundation for every day, for long days at school, for long days at the office or a restaurant. If you work in busy environments, this foundation will definitely hold up throughout the day. So that was my review and demo. I do hope that this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried this foundation or the original, what your thoughts are about them. And it's always good for us to share our experiences with each other. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll speak to you guys on my next video. Bye.